My name is Mark Hans. I am the Chief Executive Officer of what's called the Australian Industry Trade Colleges. It's a group of schools. We have 4 operating campuses in southeast Queensland. We grew it from nothing, and we have about 800 students in those schools, and we're one of the only schools in Australia that educates young people to a senior level and then assists them getting full-time employment. Kerry and I came to the church in 2007. It was probably a time of unravelling in our lives. It was there was a lot of things that were happening that it wasn't a pleasant time. So I'd looked for a church where I could rebuild, I think. Well, my father was in the military, and I'd always watched my dad command men, and he had fought. He was in a Vietnam War. But I think it was actually, there was a group of people who started to see leadership in me. And that was probably both a blessing and a curse, because when you start out and someone says you're a great leader, actually you're a pretty poor leader. And so you get enamored with your own natural capacity. And I probably now, 30, 40 years later, I actually understand what leadership is. And when I say I'm less confident now, I'm probably learning more keenly now than I ever was. And I often say that leadership comes dressed up as hard work. You know, people look at leaders and they say, wow, I'd love to do what they do. And then you give them a really tough job and they say, I don't want to do that. Leadership starts with your sleeves rolled up, and it's hard work. And if you're not prepared to do that, then you're probably not made for true leadership. When I see young people who are stepping out and they're not just full of good ideas, but they're taking risks, they'll fail, they get up again. They need to be encouraged that that's okay. That's leadership. Leadership is not sitting in the spectator stand cheering the team on. It's actually out there on the football field with your head in the scrum, fully knowing that you may get hurt and you may score a try, but I'm playing the game. And so that's how I see leadership. When I see that, I'll say to people, come on the journey, I'll get behind you. If you are afraid of failure, you are normal. I live every day with a sense of I could fail. But the only way you can change anything in life is by taking a risk. You cannot change things by playing it safe. There is no safe way to be great. You have to step out. Failure is a way of finding out how something doesn't work. And I've learned more through failure than I have through my successes. If you've got a gift, I always like that story in the Bible where Moses is standing before the Red Sea and he's got the sea in front of him and the Egyptians behind him and rocks on either side, and he's calling out to God and he says, well, what do I do? And God says, what's in your hand? Do that. And so often we're looking around for something to do, and what we're doing is what we should be doing for God. I think it's Romans 12:8 that says, look, if you're a teacher, teach. If you're in hospitality, then have people round for a cup of tea and scones, or whatever it says. And then it says, but if you lead, do it soberly. And I always like that sort of that grammatical addition, because it says if you're going to lead, then you're going to have to do it really seriously and take that leadership really seriously. Look, I'm 58 years old. I met the Lord when I was 20. And over the last, 39 years, I have developed a relationship that's sometimes been incredibly close and often quite distant. But I've found at the most surprising times he's sort of shown up in ways that I didn't imagine. And there's not a day that I don't get up and I just say, God, thank you, Jesus. I talk to him all the time. And I'm unashamedly a Christian. And I hope one day that I've served him well. But he has given me a reason to live and a reason to do something with all my heart.